talk about the preterite versus the imperfect. Now, I just want you to do one thing for me now. Forget the word preterite and imperfect. I just want you to forget those words because you probably don't even know what they mean, and they're probably kind of confusing. I didn't even know these words existed until after I got fluent in Spanish. Okay, so that just tells you how useless they are, how useless it is to know them. Instead, we're going to rename these to line in the past and the point in the past. Okay, so the line in the past, if you think about a timeline, on the timeline, okay, when we're referring to tenses in Spanish are just, the time periods that we're describing on the timeline. So you have the present, the future, and the past. Now, both of these are describing the past, okay? But the line in the past is describing a period of time in the past, okay? So this is why I call it the line in the past, right? Because it's a line on the timeline in the past. So this is referring to stuff like I was eating, or I used to eat, okay? So that's the sort of translation there. Now, comparatively, the preterite, the point in the past, is referring to a point, a dot on the timeline in the past, okay? It is a singular point in the past. So think about I ate, I spoke, I ran, and so on, okay? And so one is describing a period of time in the past, which is the imperfect in this case, and the other is describing the point in the past, which is the preterite, okay? That is the difference between these two. And so English will make this annoying because in English, you'll find cases where we'll say, for example, we'll say I was for something that isn't a period of time in the past, but a point. If you want to say, for example, in English, we say I was born, but being born isn't something that happens over a period of time. No, it's something that happens at a point in time. And so in Spanish, you don't say I was born. You don't use the line in the past. You don't say nacía, but rather you say nací, which is the point in the past, because being born is something that happens in a point in the past. And so even if the translation doesn't show it, the logic does, which is why you want to think about it through logic and not just translating phrases. Okay. So in Spanish, you actually say I born, because being born is something that happens in a point in the past. And so that's the difference between the preterite and imperfect. And so reframing it as the point in the past and the line in the past will help you a lot with understanding these two. And if you're just starting out, I'd highly recommend checking out the Speedy Spanish Roadmap. It's a free course I created to help you start learning Spanish with these methods, and you'll find it in the first link in the description.